Hi guys, welcome to the Market Code Breakers. My name is Leon, where I break down one different asset for you every single day, giving you the key levels and the key ranges that you need to pay attention to going into tomorrow's session. Now, the levels that I give you are the levels that the banks and institutions use. I give you them as ranges. These are the ranges that they set themselves and then they work to and from them. So what you start to see is lots of reactions at these points. So the key areas that you need to pay attention to going into tomorrow's session. Okay, so on Friday, I give you a lot of levels on the NASDAQ. So I wanted to review the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ on Friday just absolutely took a nosedive. Okay, but with use of these levels and these ranges, they would have given you key areas and key points where you could have joined that move if you have access to all the right levels. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So after I've done the review of the NASDAQ, I want to break down oil as well. So we'll get into oil. Oil is in a key area. It's in a place where it's not been for a few months now. It's like at the low point. It's the lowest point it's been for a while, and it's showing lots of signs that it wants to go up. And I'll break down them signs for you, and I'll try and give you an understanding of what you can expect to see going into tomorrow's session, and things that will prepare you in case those things do come into fruition. You will be prepared and be able to make the right decisions based on that information. So let's get into it, guys. So here we have the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ on Friday just dropped like a sack of potatoes. It just dropped like I don't know what. And where was we? So the last point that I gave you in the NASDAQ, I said, look, we could break into this green range. We could start playing this lower green range. I was saying that the signs before this, we kept playing this green range up top, up here. We kept leaving it incomplete. This was showing signs that they want to take this green range, but it's a signal to the other banks and the other institutions that before we go and do that, we're going to move price away. I was calling all week for this blue range to be completed before they make the move up. They did that, but then they absolutely took a shoe bag, absolutely ripped it to the downside. I'm sorry. It's not my word that I it's such a habit of saying it from Tino. Sorry Tino for stealing your words, but yeah, it took an absolute nosedive to the downside. I got that off Tino as well, to the upside to the downside. I can't help it. It's just the way I describe the charts. Anyway, that's irrelevant. So the NASDAQ took a nosedive on Friday. And the levels that I gave to you, I gave you this green range. I'm pretty sure I gave you this purple range, this blue range below. And I've already given you this purple range and all these other ranges to the upside. But those, for the time being now, they become irrelevant because as you can see, NASDAQ has ripped it to the downside. So places that you could have joined this move on the NASDAQ. So we broke free of this green range. We retraced to it. Anywhere in this region potentially could have been good areas for shorts, although it wasn't giving you the precision that you usually are led to expect. But on the Asia session, the best point of entry, once they broke into the midpoint and they came back up to the highs of this green range, to give this perfect wick touch. Now, for me, with use of these ranges, that would have been the perfect entry. But none of us were to know how far down they was going to take it. You know, if I'd have taken that short, which I didn't do, if I'd have taken that short, I would have targeted the bottom end of this green range. Would have been a very nice trade based on the range. You know, it would have played that range perfectly and I would have gotten out at this point, and I would have been happy with that. And then when I would have woken up the day after and I'd have seen how much it dropped, I'd have been absolutely kicking myself. But yeah, so what it was doing on the NASDAQ, it was breaking below these levels, retracing. Now, I do have ranges missing inside of this area, which were old ranges that I've since deleted because I wanted to keep this clean as I could for you going into tomorrow's session. But there was other levels in this region right here, and exactly what you see, what I talk about, it breaking below them and retracing, breaking below, retrace, breaking below and retrace, breaking below and retrace, continuing, breaking below, retrace, continuing, breaking below, retrace and continuing, breaking below, retrace, continuing. Like, this is what we got. This is what we got, like, the whole way down on the NASDAQ. Now, I don't have all the levels to show you in this region here, but that's what it was doing. So it would so all day long it was saying, I'm going to keep going. And what they're doing in this scenario, guys, is for all the guys They don't do this to communicate to you and me. They don't. They do this to communicate to one another. And what do I mean? The banks and institutions, they communicate via these ranges. Now, this is something that I spotted a long time ago with these ranges. And I would notice on a trend day, they would break above a level, retrace to it, break above, retrace to it, break above the next one, retrace to it. And they would do that the whole way up. And I was like, why? Why could they do that? Why would they want to do that? And it dawned on me that it's obviously they're communicating to one another via these levels, because what they're saying is, guys, hold on to your longs. This is not the level. This is not the range that we want to finalize price at. This is not the top. This is not the point to be closing. And they will keep going until they finally get to a point where the range that they're happy with, and then they'll start to close off the positions from there in that area. And that's how they communicate, especially on a trend day. And that's what we got on Friday. So, the last point, and you can see this perfect touch. The last point was a rejection of a lower range. So again, communicating, okay, we don't want to break further now into that range. That's what they said at the end of the session on Friday. And then price started to move up. So, the levels that I want to give you on the NASDAQ going into tomorrow's session, I'm expecting price to go back up based on what we've seen. But again, it might not be until later on in the week. They might move price a little bit further up Monday, Tuesday, leave a range incomplete, move it back down again, start coming into this region, perhaps reacting from the top of that range again from another session. What we want to see is the different sessions cooperating together, so they're both saying, okay, we also don't want to play any further down, we're happy with this region. Then they'll start to load up the position to start to move price back up towards the highs that they left incomplete of last week. Now, it's going to be a big move if they're going to do it in 1 week. I'm not quite sure. This might be a progressive thing. They might just do it day by day. Okay, we'll leave this range incomplete, and then the day after they'll go and complete that range, and then they'll leave the next range up incomplete, and they might just signify it day by day that they want to make that climb higher. We don't know how they're going to make that move higher, or even if it's going to come. It might not even come yet. They might want to keep moving price lower down, but we'll have to see how the story develops on the NASDAQ. The range that they're currently in, I want to give you this range because the last point that they reacted from is this orange range. So this orange range is definitely in play. They've reacted from the midpoint of it twice and the highs. So I'm expecting at some point this orange range to get completed today. But again, they might complete it, they might just and then continue lower. We don't know. So if price, so I'm going to give you this orange range first of all. Let me start by doing that. So start at the highs of 20,546.75. Down to the lows of 20,481.75. Now you get your Fibonacci tool and you start at the highs. Why is my Fibonacci tool looking all weird? Why does my Fibonacci look weird? It's quite, that's not right. Anyway, why does it look like that? Why does it look like that? February. Why is my Fibonacci looking so weird? Like, it's down there, but it shouldn't be. Anyway, so you want it clicked -1, that's why. That needs to be 0. 0, 0.5 and 1, okay? Extend lines right, and then background highlighted. That's why my Fibonacci. So that's how you want your Fibonacci set. Extend lines right. And you want to do it to the levels that I've just given you. So you might have to rewind the video because I've got other levels that I want to give you as well. So I want to give you this level that they reacted from at the lows. You need to mark this up on your charts just in case price does get down into that region. We may see another reaction at that point. We may not. Okay, but you need to have it marked off. So the top of that range, I'm just going to give you the top level of it. So it's 20,406.00. Have that marked off. Like I say, we're working this orange range at the minute. So also I want you to mark off this red range just in case this red range does come into play. They haven't really shown signs that they confirm in this red range, but it doesn't mean that it's not being played right now. I'd expect to see some sort of perfect wick touch on the top, maybe from the bottoms, and start to play inside of that range. If that range is coming into play, it might just be the orange range for the time being. So the highs of this purple range is 20,527.7 forgive me, 20,526.25. Put that as the highs. The lows, 20,432.50. Put that as the lows. So that gives you them two ranges. Now, if price is going to start making its way up, guys, it's the same thing that I say on every video. What you'd expect to see, if price does come down into this region, and it's confirming that it doesn't want this blue range and it doesn't want this purple range, it might react from the lows of the purple range back up. It might retrace to the top side, might break into this orange range, retrace to the lows, break above it, retrace to the highs. You know, this is the type of thing if we're going to see price moving up. But, you know, we've just trended down for one day. Are we just going to instantly start trending back up? I don't think we are. But I do think we might get some reactions inside of this orange range during the Asia session. So this is the type of thing that we might start to see during the Asia session. So pay attention to this orange range, and also this much bigger pink range, and potentially this bottom level. Those are the levels that I want you to pay attention to. If price is going to move up tomorrow at any point, whether it be in Asia or during the London session, you know, I'd expect to see it break free of this orange range, because they've already confirmed that they want this orange range, retrace into the highs, continuing up into other regions. This point might be a point of interest, 20,615 potential reactions at this point. I don't see them making the full climb up tomorrow, personally, but those are the range to pay attention to on the NASDAQ. So I said to you I'm going to break down oil for you, didn't I? And let's get into the oil breakdown, because oil is in a key area, a key level. It's at a key range. It's in a key range, and the reason it's a key range is because if I put it on the higher time frames, we've reacted from this point several times over before. And the last time we came into this region, you know, we cleared this orange range. Now we're coming into it. We're playing the blue range. We're reacting from the midpoint of this blue range. We've left this range incomplete previously, which was on October, actually. We left these ranges incomplete. So, but we've also got incomplete business to the upside. So what I would expect to see really on oil is if they're going to make the move up, because they've left this orange range incomplete here. They've left this further orange range incomplete here. Signs are saying that they want to go higher. But first of all, they've got this unfinished business to the downside. So I'm expecting these ranges, at least this blue range, because they've confirmed this blue range to be completed. So I'd want to see this blue range completed before they start to make the climb higher. So I want you to mark off this blue range, guys. It starts at 67.09 to the lows of 66.54. And then I want you to mark off this big orange range. They haven't confirmed they want this orange range, so you might not get any reactions from this point. You'd only really get reactions from these ranges when they're confirming that they want these ranges. Other than that, you'll just get like sort of reactions maybe in this region, but not actually on the point. So they're not making any signals that they want that orange range. So mark this off as well, 67.28 down to the lows of 66.40. And then obviously we have this much bigger yellow range, which we did play during the Friday session. We went through the highs, from the midpoint to the highs. We broke up. There must have been something in this region that sent price lower that I don't have on my charts at the minute. When you start seeing reactions at points that you're not aware of, it's because you've got missing information in your charts. But regardless of that, the information that I'm giving you right now I think is going to be more key than what this level was. So mark off this yellow range as well. This is the third range that I want to mark off for oil. 68.01 down to the lows of 67.00. Okay, you know, we might start to see reactions inside of this yellow range again tomorrow. We might start to see this type of behavior. These are just levels where you may expect to see some sort of reactions, but depending on what level they're reacting from will give you accurate targets. Because if they're reacting from this yellow range, then you know, okay, this yellow range is in play, then maybe I can take a trade from the midpoint to the highs. Or if they're reacting from the highs, maybe I could take a trade from the highs to the midpoint. It gives you accurate targets because you know what ranges they're playing. But then if price is going to make its way up, guys, and start completing these ranges, then the type of thing that you're going to see, you'd probably see it retrace come down to the bottom of this blue range. Then it break above, might get to the highs, back to the midpoint, break above, it might retrace back to the highs of this blue range, signaling that they're now done with this blue range. Then they might start to play this yellow range from the highs to the midpoint, back up again. They might break free. They might retrace to the highs of this yellow range, signaling that they're also done with this yellow range, and they'll start to make the climb up. Pay close attention to this red point here. I'm going to just give you this as a level because you could get a good reaction at this point. Again, don't be mistaken in thinking that it won't happen. It could happen. So it's another level that I want you to take forward. Just do it with a horizontal line, 68.78, and then I'm going to give this orange range because this is the last range that they left incomplete. Again, when on the NASDAQ, when they tend to do this stuff and then they go back up and they complete that range, they usually rip up into higher ranges. So it's potentially on the cards, if this orange range does get completed in tomorrow's session, price could end up inside of these ranges and you could react from any one of these points. Okay, but that's irrespective. I'm just giving you the points that it might want to react from if it's gonna prove that move and it wants to start making that climb higher. Okay, so mark off this orange range as well, guys, because it might come into effect tomorrow in tomorrow's session. 69.86 down to 68.90. So as I've already explained now, what I expect to see on oil. Oh, oil has opened. The markets have opened, and they have just cleared that orange range. Interesting. Interesting behavior. Interesting behavior. I'm missing the market open. Okay. So they've cleared that orange range. That could be a good sign. But I'd be very careful because it is a big wick and it is on the open. So they might want to come back down to this point. This might be what might happen going into oil. So play close attention. Play close attention to that if that happens. But anyway, guys, those are the oils. I'm going to get my trading screen open. I might place some trades myself. I want to see what's going on the NASDAQ. But those are the levels I want you to take forward for oil, and pay attention to what I said on the NASDAQ as well. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share these videos with your friends. Everyone can benefit from these videos. These are levels and the ranges that banks, institutions use. You get good reactions, as you've just seen already on the market open. Perfect reaction at the lows of this orange range. So yeah, pay attention to these levels and these ranges, guys, and I will see you again tomorrow. I need that blue range is in a different position than it was. There we go. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye for now.